15 cooking tricks that chefs reveal only at culinary schools. How do restaurant chefs manage to cook delicious culinary masterpieces so fast? Professional chefs usually keep all their cooking tricks a secret and share them only with their students. However, we've managed to find out some drops of cooking wisdom. These secrets will help to make your dishes taste just as great as Gordon Ramsay's or even better. Also, you will be rewarded with the most unusual cooking trick you have ever heard of. Number 15, the perfect steak. Starving you Louis home thinking of that perfect piece of meat that will make such a wonderful steak. It's still in the freezer, but it shouldn't matter, right? Wrong. Don't fry a piece of meat that you've just taken out of the fridge. Leave it for an hour or two before cooking to let it come up to room temperature. Now you'll fry the meat evenly and get a great meal regardless of how you like your steak done. If you want a beautiful brown crust on your steak, get rid of all the moisture in the meat before frying. So if you were too hungry to wait, maybe it's better to order some pizza. Number 14, the juiciest meat. It takes time to fry chicken or pork properly, and you can dry them out very easily. To avoid this, many European chefs use a simple trick. They put the meat in a brine. It's very easy to make a good brine. Take 3 cups of water, add a 1/4 cup of salt, and a 1/4 cup of sugar, pour the brine onto your meat so that the liquid covers it, and put the bowl in a fridge. The time of brining depends on the thickness of the chops you have. Approximately 1 hour for 2 pounds of meat. Don't leave it for more than 8 hours or less than a half an hour. If you cook chicken wings, the brining time should be based on an average weight of 1 wing. Don't forget to pat the chops dry before cooking. You work on fried, not stewed after all. Number 13, flavoring spices. If you are that person who likes their dishes savory and full flavored, this tip will take you to cloud 9. To extract natural flavors and enhance the taste of the black pepper or cumin in your dish, toss them in a pan over medium heat, toasting them until they're fragrant. After that, you can use a mortar and pestle to grind your spices. You can substitute ground black pepper with black peppercorns and crack the seeds. When you add it to your dish, you'll get a much better aroma and flavor. Number 12, light and airy dough. Do you prefer to cook from scratch? Then you prepare the dough yourself. If you want to make it perfect, here is a simple rule. Take the butter and eggs out of the fridge the night before to let them come up to room temperature. You'll thank us later. What is more, if you use yeast, put the dough in a warm place and wait until it becomes very puffy. The puffy of the dough, the area of the pastry. Number 11, fish with a delicate crust. If you want to fry fish on a grill, spread some mayonnaise on it to get a tasty delicate crust. Take a pastry brush, dip the tip in the sauce, and lightly apply mayo to the fish. Add some salt and then grill it. We guarantee you'll get a perfect golden crust. Use the minimum amount of spices on your fish. It's better to use salt. When the fish is done, spritz it with lemon juice for the best result. Number 10, cooking steak without oil. Alain Ducasse, one of the most famous chefs in the world, revealed his secret for cooking a great steak. The steak is placed on its edge because it renders the fat. Now you're able to cook the steak in beef fat, plus it creates a delicious crust on the edges. Thus, you don't need to use oil while cooking. It's as simple as that. Number 9, creamy mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are considered to be ideal comfort food, but let us be honest, when was the last time your potatoes were fluffy and creamy enough? To prepare them properly isn't as easy as it seems, but we have a secret to share. Before turning boiled potatoes into the mashed ones, you need to dry them properly. Just place them in a clean heated frying pan and keep them there until the remains of water dry out. Don't let the heat fry them. When the potatoes are dry, you'll get the best creamy mashed potatoes. A little extra tip to avoid hot mayo splashing when you make mashed potatoes: smash some of them in a pan and then add the milk. Number 8, excellent cream soup. This recommendation will come in handy for the lovers of vegetable cream soup. Right before you start cooking it, fry all the vegetables separately with olive oil. Then add some water, or broth, Frying will caramelize the sugar in the vegetables and enhance the flavor. The dish will be exquisite and tasty. The same trick can be applied to a vegetable stew. Please remember one more thing: as tasty and as mouthwatering as your freshly cooked soup is, let it cool a bit. Too hot or too cold dishes impair your taste judgment. You just won't be able to feel all the richness of the flavor. Number 7. The best pancakes. Regardless of the recipe you follow, always add 2 tablespoons of sour cream to the mix. This trick suits all kinds of pancakes well, and they turn out to be very tasty, fluffy, and free of cracks. Another trick depends on how patient you are. The tastiest dough you will get is the one that is kept in the fridge for about 12 hours. Are you in doubt? Check it out. Number 6. Sugar is not just for sweetness. Sugar can be as good of seasoning as salt. Add a bit of sugar to a dish with pickled or fresh tomatoes or a tomato paste. The sugar reduces their natural sourness and makes any meal taste better. Just don't overdo it. Nobody wants a sweet pizza. Number 5. The most difficult one: perfectly fried eggs. Anyone can fry an egg, you might say. Let us disagree. The 3 components of a perfectly fried egg are a thick-walled frying pan, butter and minimum heat. Heat up the frying pan and add a half tablespoon of butter. It has to melt slowly, not reach a sizzle. Break the eggs and cook for 4 to 5 minutes. Add salt and enjoy perfectly fried eggs. Another variant is to melt some butter, then break an egg on top of it. When you see that the bottom of the egg is already firm, it can slide around easily. Add another piece of butter. As soon as it melts, scoop a bit with a spoon and pull over the whites. To repeat this until no liquid butter is left. Then sprinkle the egg with some salt. Bon appetit! Number 4. Clear broth. A clear broth is the main component in many soups, sauces, and other dishes. To make a crystal clear broth, you need to cook chicken on a low heat without a cover for at least 3 hours. Don't let it boil and remove the suds as they appear. After cooking it for 1.5 hours, you can add parsley, celery, carrots, and onions. When cooking a beef or a lamb broth, you might want to roast root vegetables before adding them to your soup. Just cut them into halves and put them in a heated frying pan without oil. Fry until a dark brown crust appears and then add them to the broth. This trick will make the taste of your dish very rich. Number 3. Crispy bread crust. If you bake at home, you might have faced difficulties with your crust. It's either too pale or too thin. You can solve this problem quite easily by putting a bowl of water into your oven. When you bake, instead of such a bowl, you can use a tray full of ice cubes. The trick here is in the steam which is produced during baking. It will keep the outer layer of the dough moist. Without it, the crust will cook too quickly, and instead of being crispy, to become burnt and dense. So, the steam will do the magic and you will have nothing to do but enjoy the results. Number 2. Cook onions correctly. Do you avoid using onions in your dishes because they turn out strange every time you try to cook them? Forget this problem. We will reveal the secret of perfectly made onions for you. Using a medium heat for frying, and add both cooking oil and butter to the heated frying pan. Cut the onions and fry them with some salt. The salt does 3 good things. It gets rid of the unpleasant onion smell, it helps them cook quicker, and it caramelizes them to add a sweet flavor. You should also only use butter for frying onions to prevent them from darkening. Use melted butter instead. Number 1. Don't be afraid of garlic. Not only vampires are afraid of garlic, its smell can ruin a business meeting or a romantic dinner. If you still love to eat it but don't want to frighten away your date or wreck the negotiations, because who wants a partner terrified of vampires? Don't add garlic to the dish. Instead, you can apply some garlic juice to the plate. Thus you'll avoid the unpleasant smell and enjoy your favorite flavor. You are welcome. Hopefully these tips have been useful for you, but there is one more secret left to reveal. Bonus: say no to non-stick pans. Have you ever noticed that it's quite hard to cook something with a crispy crust on a non-stick frying pan? The reason is the non-stick coating. Use this type of pan only for frying eggs and pancakes. If you want your meat or fish to have a golden crust, buy a new frying pan without a non-stick coating. Do you have any personal cooking tricks up your sleeve? Share them in the comments. And if this video gathers 50,000 likes, we will reveal the secret ingredients of the most popular drinks in the world. Click subscribe to join us on the bright side.